If your burglary alarm goes off in Seattle, the police might not show up. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the Seattle Police Department potentially not showing up to your home when your burglary alarm goes off. They got to see a little bit more evidence. Okay, look, is the man with the pistol in the frame of a camera? Can you send us a screenshot? Can you send us video of the inside of this guy tying you guys up, hog tying you? Can you guys do that? And look, if you can provide that evidence, maybe we'll come out. But if the alarm just goes off, we're not going to come out. Now, before we get to the video, here's what I think is happening. They're having to cut back. They're having to cut money. They can't find officers, which is the same thing all over the nation. Remember the whole thing? All cops are bad and George Floyd and hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe. All these years of villainizing police has led to this. I called it back then. Of course, as always, I got called all types of names that I can't even repeat on the YouTubes, because they're going to censor me and I don't like cussing no way, but different story, I digress. I got called all kind of names. Oh, ABL, these police are so bad. We got to get them out of here. You love the white man. But I said, look, in your community, in the community where you live, if you're a black person, poor white person, poor whatever, you are going to suffer. You're going to have a rise in crime, violence, everything. You're going to actually be praying for the police to come back. But in Seattle, Washington, that might be a thing of the past. And before I go any further, let's get into the actual news clip. Of course, I will link to everything in the box, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Thousands of homes and businesses in Seattle have cameras and alarm systems. Just read the sign. This property is protected. But if someone illegally enters the building, it's going to take more than the alarm siren to get police to respond.
Illegally enters? Why you can't just say break in? I mean, is it me or maybe I'm just looking a little bit too much into it? Are they trying to use language to soften up what these things are? Illegally enter. You mean breaking into somebody's house? That's what I always thought it was called, but I'm getting triggered, so I digress. Let's hear from this lady right here.
Respond.
The Seattle Police Department is asking for video verification or audio verification on all alarms. What that means is potentially 65,000 alarm systems in the city of Seattle need to be upgraded within 2 weeks.
Shannon Woodman, CEO of Washington Alarm, says her company has an unfeasible task ahead of them.
What this actually means, in my humble opinion, is they're not going to come out to most of these alarms. Okay, so you're pretty much on your own. Now, I don't know how the gun laws are in Seattle, Washington, or in Washington State. I don't know what's going on, but whatever your gun laws are, if they're not very free, they're not really open, I suggest you leave because you're going to be on your own. And if you can't have a gun to protect yourself, you're pretty much just up the creek with no paddle. But let's keep on going.
A task that was brought to their attention by this letter on September 13th from Seattle's interim police chief, Sue Rahr. The letter says if a system is triggered at a home or business, SPD will only dispatch officers to that property if an alarm company calls 911 with supporting evidence like audio, video, panic alarms, or an eyewitness.
The challenge with that is it's only 2 weeks notice. We have to notify all of our customers. We have to change how we monitor those alarms. We have to change our dispatchers on how they respond to alarms in Seattle.
Woodman and others from Washington Alarm voicing their concerns to Seattle City Council, worried not only about the short notice from SPD, but the impacts on customers who don't have audio or visual capabilities on their systems.
False alarms are an existing problem. Law enforcement and the security industry can work together to come up with a solution that benefits our customers in a way that doesn't leave them stranded and vulnerable.
Now look, false alarms, if they're a problem in Seattle, they're a problem nationwide. So why is it that Seattle is the only city that I've heard of, at least, big city, whatever, they're the only ones that I've heard of doing a thing like this? Why are they the only ones? I think they have a unique problem. You get the populace who has been turned against the police. A lot of these liberal lefties, they don't like the police. The police being turned away from the city because the people don't like them. So you have a shortage. And what are you going to do? You can't just keep sending your officers out to these calls when sometimes they're going to be false. So, hey, man, unless you have evidence, somebody on the ground bleeding out, we're not coming out. That's kind of what I'm hearing, because they're trying to preserve resources that have been depleted as a result of a lot of propaganda and people themselves voting resources out.
At the most dangerous moment.
Our fear is that the business owner or the building owner is going to go down to that building and see what is going on. And with no police there, we could potentially be in a dire situation.
Obviously, come on, man, common sense. Hey, I got to go investigate, got to go check it out. I'm Mr. Security man, no gun. All I got is my cell phone, okay, and a pair of black jeans. Let me go down there and see what's going on. And then you got migrant gangs, third world country, 15 of them, and then the officer or the security guard, he gets deleted right there. This is crazy, man. But hey, you want to defund the police? There you have it. This is the result of defunding the police.
And if there's actual criminal activity going on the property and they don't have police to back them up.
In her letter, Chief Rahr says the Seattle 911 Center receives about 13,000 residential and commercial burglary calls from alarm companies per year, but says majority of the calls are false alarms, an unintended center trip by a homeowner or employee. Rahr says with depleted resources, we cannot prioritize a patrol response when there is very low probability that the criminal activity is taking place. Woodman says she certainly doesn't want to strain the already strained police force, but ask for more time to connect with customers and upgrade systems so that SPD's plan doesn't fail, like she says has happened elsewhere.
Other cities that have done this, that the crime has gone up, and we certainly already have an issue in the city of Seattle with crime, and we would not want to see crime go up.
So there we have it. Let's see what the final words are right here.
The City of Seattle does charge a fee when officers respond to false alarms. Companies receive that fee and then it's passed on to the customer to pay. The city says this is not for profit, but rather to cover the cost for dispatch and police response.
That's crazy. Now, if you guys live in other places in the country, do you guys do this? Does your city charge for a false alarm? Is that what's going on? That's crazy. So there's a financial aspect, but of course it's all about money. Like I said, the resources are strained. Defund the police. Okay, cool. Defund the police. Now you got a false alarm. Your alarm goes off by mistake. All right, we're going to charge for that. You don't have evidence of somebody on the ground tied up and bleeding that you can send to us, that you can, like maybe you could film it. Maybe you could just get on your Facebook Live and film somebody getting deleted right there and send that to the police. So if you don't have that, then we're not sending the police out. This is the result of defunding the police. As I close, I want to say this. I'm glad I live where I live, where we actually like the police, where we champion the police, where we work with the police, where they're part of the community and we appreciate them. I'm glad to live in a place like that. I would not want to live in a place like Seattle, anywhere on the left coast, Los Angeles. I'm not trying to have crack smoke get blown in my face and there's nothing done about it. I'm not trying to be in my house, get burglarized, and nobody comes because it might be a false alarm and all, and they got to pay money. Ain't nobody got no time for that, especially when you can't even really have guns over there. What did it say? Magazine restriction, 10 rounds only, even in a rifle. What am I going to do with that? Go plinking? I need to actually defend myself against these third world terrorists that the USA has allowed into the country. I need more than that. And I need a police force that actually come to actually help me when I need them. Not just say, hey, man, that might be a false alarm. We can't do nothing about it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening with Free Out of Washington and the situation with the burglar alarms? It's too many false alarms, 13,000 calls in a year. The majority of that is false, a mistake, tripwire, whatever the case may be. So, hey, man, we need a little bit more evidence. Get your phone out. Go down there, Mr. Security Man, with your badge and no gun. Go down there and film the Venezuelan migrant gangs deleting somebody. Yeah, that'd be great evidence for us. So after you get deleted and they delete whoever they deleting, we come out and just collect evidence and on to the next. Whatever your thoughts on the whole situation are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I might be a tad bit exaggerating, but I'm not really, because this is what's going on. I've not heard about this thing happening in other cities. Now, maybe it is. Maybe I'm just not very informed, but I've not really heard about it. But I think it's happening here. It's happening all over the country in a lot of these liberal cities. They defunded police. They hated on the police. And now they are reaping the not so beneficial response to their action. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.